Wow. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are live as we dig into the Friday night frights here on the Paranormal Portal. Absolutely thrilled to be here with you.
Edward.
The ghost box says Edward right out of the gate. Hi, Edward. How you doing? Not sure who Edward is, but thanks for stopping in, Edward. Yeah, we're it just was right on cue. I guess that's another co-host tonight, Edward. I don't know. I just work here, folks. I don't know what the hell is going on, but hope you guys are doing great. Sheldon will be along shortly. We hope. Yeah, he said he's going to be a little bit behind, but he'll be with us as soon as he can be. But we have the full Friday show, 2 hours unadulterated paranormal fun, just waiting for you. So hopefully I'll do a good job in entertaining you. I've been, I don't know, kind of all over the map today. It's been a weird day, but not a bad day, but a weird day. So hope your week has gone good, whatever you're doing, however things are going in your world. And yeah, we got a lot to get to. Of course, we're going to get to the news, which is always near and dear to our hearts, right near the beginning of the show, just to make sure we're all updated on the current events of the world, whether they're relevant or not. We're going to check out the news. Then we're going to check out an article dealing with some ghost encounters, and then we'll get to some Crypted Corner and I don't know, whatever else we decide. And of course, the phone lines still aren't working, just so you know. So when you see that on the screen, call in now. Don't do that because nobody's going to answer. The phones are down, and it's actually not just me apparently, but apparently they're not up for TFR either. And so I don't know. It's the similar system that we use, the same system. So perhaps there's some other issues going on. I don't know. But yeah, I did lose my credentials for it, but I'm not sure that would matter anyway. So yeah, so that's just so you know, don't call in because that's not going to get you anywhere. But if you want to take part in the conversation, just capitalize your comments in the chat. If you could, please, that would help. Or put at Paranormal Portal, that would really help. And when Sheldon's here, of course, he'll watch the chat a little more than I can as I'm reading and stuff. But yeah, we've got you know, enjoy. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it. Is that Edward? Edward enjoys. It's very talkative tonight. Apparently, the ghost box. We got Edward and enjoy so far. Just a couple minutes into the show, so hopefully you enjoy it as well. Good point, Edward. We want everybody to enjoy themselves, so that's true. Excuse me, I'm just a little froggy. But yeah, this is my favorite podcast. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate that, man. That's awesome. Now this is the YouTube, not necessarily the podcast. The podcast is, oh, thank you, Wizard. The podcast is, audio only, but I do show the podcast episodes here on YouTube as well. Not on Twitch yet, but, on YouTube. And, those are interviews generally with people, either people in the fields or experiencers or whatever. And, I love doing those as well. But they're really kind of two different shows, really. Paranormal Portal. Yes, exactly, Rachel. Thank you for the demonstration. And that way it'll help me see it in a lot of cases. I don't know. At least it'll better your odds. May the odds always be in your favor. So I appreciate all the compliments. So that's wonderful. I love doing all these shows. This one is near and dear to my heart because this is kind of where it all started. I actually started the YouTube channel long before I did a podcast, believe it or not. And so it all started here doing stuff like this, but it became the podcast as well as this. Now, I know a lot of YouTube channels say this is our podcast and it's their YouTube streams as well as their podcast piled into one episode, but I kind of do them differently. I do these more like variety shows. The Wednesday, Friday, Saturday shows are like variety shows dealing with all the different topics, many different topics per show. That way, we cover a lot of ground and don't just cater to one taste or another. We kind of give hopefully something for everybody. And then, the podcasts are their own thing where it's, one topic per show dealing with, interviews with people or whatever. So, just to give you a little distinction of that in case you're new or not really clear about that. So Portal fam, RJ Windwalker's in here, Chad Votaw, Rachel gets it right. Wizard Moon, Renee's in here. Good to see you, Renee. And Jake, of course, who came in. That's a new name, I think, Jake R. Good to see you, Jake R. And thank you again for the kind words. Chucky's in here, Lucky Gypsy. Wizard Moon. Who am I missing? That's it. I think that's it for now for who's chatting. I think Portal Mom's out there somewhere, probably watching. But she's sitting quietly and relaxing. So, yeah. Yeah, it's good to see you, Jake. Thanks, man. It's always good to see new people popping in and checking things out. It's wonderful. So Karen Alberting just came. Good to see you, Karen. It's great to have you here, and say hello to Neil for us. Give him our love. And we've got a lot to get to. So I'm going to just check because I don't know if Sheldon's on the horn yet or not, or if Ken be. I don't know when he's going to come, but generally what happens is I send him a call and then he just picks it up when he gets there. But I'm going to try doing it one more time just to be sure. I don't know if it'll work or not, but by God, we can try. At least then it'll be waiting for him. If it does work, it'll be waiting for him. So we'll see if he's able to get that when he does arrive in. So, but yeah, I guess it's warming up. That's a good thing. Not that you care about my weather, but I think we're all kind of warming up a little bit after the deep freezes. God knows that was a fresh slice of winter hell. And nobody loves that. Nobody loves that very much at all. So, excuse me. So, Rachel posted new OUC in Discord. What is OUC? I don't know what that means. John says Rachel posted new OUC in Discord. I'm not sure what that means, John. I'm not sure if that was for me either, but let me know if there's something I should be noticing. I appreciate it. So, anyway. Oh, what's this? Big sanitary... Sorry for bothering you. I want to offer you a promotion of your channel, viewers, followers. Wow. Somebody from Twitch. Sanitary Fox Hulk. No thanks. Price is lower. No, thank you very much. No, thank you. I don't know if you're over there, Gypsy, but if you can kick that one, that'd be great. There's obviously somebody spamming for some funding to fake views and stuff. No, thank you. We just want organic. There's no reason to fake this stuff. And to each their own. Just full disclosure. I know the YouTube channel, even though I've been at it for a long time, grows at a very slow rate. But I've never advertised it. I've never really promoted it. I've just done it, and it's grown completely organically. So. I do take great pride in the fact that the people that have found our shows have done so because they must like them, and they tune in because it's what they're interested in, not because they happen to get botted in or something else or spammed into it. So I don't know. I don't do those fake things like that. So anyway, but let me go back down. All right. Let's, I guess, while we're waiting, then we can get to the news and see what the hell's going on. So are you ready for some news? Are you ready to get newsed? I'm about to news you up. So let's do it. We roll here on the portal. Nothing but trust, love and trust, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And I'm it tonight. I can use a big screen now. I don't need more panels. All right. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Portal News Desk as we dive into the Paranormal Portal news for tonight, Friday night. And I've got a few articles pulled up for your enjoyment and enrichment, hopefully. So let's get to it. And the first one up is from a site called unexplained-mysteries.com. It's a site I use every show. I love this site. Please support them. Support what they're doing. Unexplained-mysteries.com is amazing. It's just fantastic. So head over there, support what they're doing. Give them some clicks, give them some traffic, and help them pay the bills, please. First story tonight is it's an old one, actually. It's kind of made a resurgence. I remember seeing this one years ago, but it's obviously bubbled its head up again. So this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Eerie figure in runner's Hawaii footage sparks night marcher rumors. Now, if you're not familiar with what night marchers are, I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit. I'm a little familiar with the phenomena. And essentially it's this, ghostly torchlight parade that is conducted by the deceased warriors of the kings of Hawaii. And the legend goes that if you see them, you have to get out of the way. You have to get away from them. Because if they see you and you don't play dead, you will be dead. And so the night marchers are no joke in Hawaii beliefs. I don't know if I've heard stories. I've heard encounters. Now, this is a pretty curious picture. I don't know the background of it. I don't know much of it. We're going to learn more, but I've seen this for years, so I know it's been out there for a while. However, let's see what this says. And in case you missed it, back here in the background is of course the alleged spirit, the obake, or the night marcher, if that's what it is. Now, night marchers is generally a nighttime phenomena. I don't know that it's a daytime phenomena, because it's usually accompanied by like a snake-like torch brigade through the jungles as it comes down the mountains and then goes back up. So it's anybody's guess, but at any rate, it's believed to be a very dangerous phenomena, and the locals don't play with it at all. So it's not like you go and Zach Baggins it and just, oh yeah, you want to march? Come march on me. No, you don't do that with the night marchers, because they will march all up and down your backside, apparently. So don't play with the night marchers. But let's read the story. It says, an ultramarathon runner unwittingly encountered a mysterious figure during a 100-mile race in the Hawaii rainforest. 100 miles? Who the hell can run 100 miles? Back in January 2019, Kay Borlius, I guess, has been a keen runner for most of her life, had been taking part in the grueling 100-mile race through the dense rainforest of Oahu, Hawaii. That was not bad. I did pretty good there. The event is a challenging one, to say the least, and Borlius ultimately had to pull out of the race when she injured her foot during the second lap of the 20-mile route on Honolulu Mauka trails. The strangeness began when, upon returning home, her pacing partner Cassie sent a number of photographs taken during the race out to her friends and family. And it wasn't long before one of them noticed something unusual in one of the pictures. It turned out that the camera had picked up a mysterious figure who had seemingly emerged from the foliage next to the trail, even though neither Borlius or Cassie had noticed him at the time. The reason why no one was on that part of the trail is because all the runners had to run in a clockwise direction, and she later wrote on her blog, and tourists weren't out that early. We didn't see anyone for hours while running together, so we were and still are positive that there was no one there. After doing some digging, sorry. She discovered a local legend concerning deceased Hawaiian warriors called the Night Marchers, who are said to roam the rainforest. These undead revenants are reportedly so terrifying that mortals cannot even look upon them. But could this really be what they captured on camera? You decide. This is from I guess it's by the New York Post, so there does seem to be a video involved. So I will copy the link and put it in the chat. If any of you want to check it out after the show, you certainly can. Or if you want to check it out during the show, you can, but I'd rather you didn't. It might be interesting. I don't, there is no video involved. It's just a photo, but it is creepy. It's very, very creepy. Where is the actual figure though? Is this the bigger version? I'm just looking because this one looks like right in line with the head, but that could be a crop. I don't know where the actual figure is. Maybe it's up here somewhere, but that is creepy. That is, I mean, it does look, I guess if you were going to see an apparition, that kind of looks like an apparition, I guess. So, or a zombie, whatever the hell that is. So yeah, there you go. What do you think? Could it be real? Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, that's the first story tonight. You be the judge. Again, it's not my job to say believe something or not believe something. Believe what you wish, but if it could be, maybe. I have talked to witnesses of the Night Marchers. I've heard witnesses interviewed that have seen the Night Marchers and other things like the Menehune and stuff on Hawaii, and it's some crazy stuff over there actually, But then again, it's on the Pacific Ring of Fire, and those islands are just supercharged with natural energy. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they would have a pretty robust spiritual presence and activity going on. So anyway, whether you believe it or not, there you have it. All right, let's get to the next one. And the next one is also from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this one also has to do with ghosts, because we seem to be on a ghost thing tonight. Right, Edward? Edward's our resident ghost tonight, I guess, because that's the name he gave us when he came in through the ghost box right at the beginning. And he said enjoy right after that. So I guess Edward enjoys tuning in. Thank you, Edward, for that again. Appreciate it. Let's go to the next one. This is unexplained-mysteries.com. Tales of ghosts and spirits abound at Aberdeen's most haunted pub. Where's Aberdeen? I don't even know. I guess it's going to tell us Scotland. Okay, Scotland. Oh, this is for ZX81V2. This is for you. Regular customers and staff members alike have shared their encounters with the paranormal at Old Kings Highway. Have you ever heard of that? Any of you guys? I haven't, but I think it'd be great to go over there and check out some of the old pubs and stuff and possibly investigate. The historic establishment was first opened its doors back in 1714. Is situated in Aberdeen on Scotland's east coast and is widely considered to be the city's most haunted pub. Like many centuries-old buildings, the Old Kings Highway has certainly seen its share of ghost sightings and eerie tales over the years. One former employee who worked at the pub in the 1990s recalled using the facilities one day during our particularly hot summer, only to find that the cubicle was freezing cold for no apparent reason. In the corner of my eye, I saw a white shadow. I could have sworn it was a young girl, he wrote. To this day, I never went back to that toilet. Yeah, that's enough to take the wee right out of you. Anyway, others, meanwhile, may have had possible interactions with the pub's ghostly inhabitants. From my experience, one Saturday night about 5 years ago, only 3 people plus bar staff. I was at the bar, far end of the bar on my own, no one near me. I felt a tap on my left shoulder, but when I turned around, no one was near me, one visitor wrote. Such stories are not uncommon, especially among staff members, with many recounting something strange or unexplained happening during their tenure. Whether something supernatural really does reside within the pub's walls, however, remains a topic of debate. You can check out the footage from a paranormal investigation in the pub below. So this is, who is it though? Paranormal Investigation, but I don't know. It's ES Paranormal. They got 82 subscribers, but that's, I mean, you can't judge a channel by the number of subscribers. I mean, people, if you get proof, you get proof. It's not, the spirits don't care how many subs you have. So if you only watch the 4 million or, millions or hundreds of thousands of sub channels, you're missing a lot, because a lot of these other people are catching some amazing stuff, but they just don't have the traction yet on YouTube. So you got to look around. There's a lot of great stuff out there. But let's copy this one, and maybe some of you guys want to check it out. Let me put it in the chat, and you can see. Again, please visit these sites, and these links are a great way to do it. Okay, so the last story up tonight, whoops, not that one, this one, is also unexplained-mysteries. Because we love some unexplained mysteries. Now, this one, I just got to say, I mean, it's just, sometimes people make way too much out of nothing. And I don't know that that's the scope of the article, but there's familiar shapes everywhere. You can look up at the clouds and see a duck or a teddy bear, or, things like that. And that doesn't mean it's a teddy bear or a duck. It's just the pareidolia or our sensibilities trying to make sense of, the chaos of the shape. And some are just natural shapes that occur naturally, although they're used in, our pop culture in some way or form. So tonight's story is no different. This comes from Mars, of all places, where apparently Curiosity rover spotted the Star Trek logo. You heard it right, folks. Starfleet logo spotted by Curiosity rover on Mars. There you go. There it is. Looks just like it. Must be Star Trek. Must be real. Anyway, NASA's decade-old rover recently spotted something rather familiar while trundling across the surface of the red planet. From bears to giant crabs, the faces of President Obama and Beaker from the Muppets, there have certainly been a lot of strange sightings on the surface of Mars over the years. With this barren landscape strewn with randomly shaped boulders, rocky outcrops, and other geological features, it's perhaps not surprising that Mars is a prime location to see examples of pareidolia, the human brain's natural tendency to see meaningful shapes in otherwise abstract patterns. This latest example, which comes courtesy of NASA's long-lived Curiosity rover, is essentially a rock that happens to bear a striking resemblance to the Delta-shaped Starfleet emblem from Star Trek. The logo has appeared across multiple Star Trek shows and movies, with Starship crew members typically wearing communicator badges shaped exactly like it. The image itself was captured by Curiosity's left navigation camera back on January 9th. Having now been on Mars since 2012, the rover has certainly proven itself a capable and hardy explorer. There you go. Is that something? No, it's not. Now, I think there are things on Mars that definitely do beg explanation and should be looked into, because they seem to imply that something was going on Mars that's much more than just some fractured geology. There's looks like foundations there. It looks like there's structures there. It looks like doorways there. There's so much. The face on Mars, so much more. And it seems pretty potential that there's been at least some active efforts to try to thwart people being too interested in it. Like, oh no, it's just this or it's that. But that happens here in our world, so why not on Mars? I don't know what they're so afraid of, but is it so hard to believe that Mars could have hosted life and robust, intelligent life millions of years ago? I don't think so at all, but it's, not my purview to say yes or no, I guess, other than for myself. But I don't think that's anything other than a rock that looks like the Starfleet logo. But you be the judge. Maybe you do. Maybe you think Star Trek visited. Who knows? You
I can
do?
go on the lake and find rocks like, that are shaped very interesting, but doesn't mean that millions of years ago Starfleet was, here on Earth.
That's true. That's
So,
true. I've probably found about 15 of those through the years that
yeah,
look like Starfleet, and I just chucked them. I skipped them probably. But good to
yeah.
see you, Sheldon Thomas. Thank you for joining me, buddy.
I am here. I am back, and I am feeling good. Hopefully, everyone is too. Welcome to the weekend. Welcome to another show.
Another weekend, another show.
That's right.
Good to have you here, man.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Very glad. Glad to be done with the work week and off to a great start with another episode.
I think so too. I'm really thrilled to be here. I got to get your camera all loaded up here because I got things all over the place, and I realized I forgot to do that. So,
oh my!
Give me a second while I make you sexy here, buddy. That didn't sound right at all. Never mind.
No,
I'll make you handsome. I'll make you handsome.
There we go.
God, it's just like no.
No.
I mean, everybody's got those moments where you just wish you could just grab the words and the marshmallows floating away and just eat them again. Yeah, that was my. That was
Yes.
mine. Yeah, that was mine. So yeah, Jesus. All right, I need a vacation. Let me see here.
To the other dawn.
What's that?
Austin Tigers. A good day to the other dawn.
The other Don. The sequel. You're Don the sequel.
2.0. That's right. Upgraded.
2.0. There you are, kind of. Let me get this moved around a little bit here. You're just kind of all over.
I can do that. I can be all over. That's fine.
No, I know you can, but I just try.
Fragments of me here, fragments of me there. I'm down for the sickness.
Ooh, All right.
That's right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude the news. I'm going to continue to try to line up cameras so that Sheldon looks like he's here. So
That's right.
Let's get back at it. Trusted news is over. But now we got this.
Yes.
This. But wait, there's more.
But wait.
There we go. There you are. I'm just getting you on the screen so that you're all official. Like in here. Yeah, that's what the hell are you doing? You're not.
Oh no, like the camera, no.
You're kind of fuzzy.
Oh no, I gotta do the thing. I'll do the thing. It's okay.
All right, I'm getting your positions all situated here.
Just keep it to the extreme. Yes.
The big stream. You want to be here? You want to just be? What the hell? What's going on?
I'm just seeing what it looks like. It's okay.
Oh yeah, but that's horrendous. There we go.
Wow, I thought I was handsome. Okay, I got you. Now we're flipping flopping.
Now you're in frame. Good. All right. So, how's everything going, buddy?
It's going good. Going good. Off to a good start. Like I said, it's the weekend. I can't be happier. You know.
You can't be. Good. That's a great way to start. That's a phenomenal way to start. I'm glad for you. But
how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've had kind of a all over the map day, but it's been okay. I'm actually feeling really hot, believe it or not, which is weird because it's been so cold, but it's actually been warm now. It's like melting up here. It's been like towards the 40s and stuff, and in the 40s today, I think. So it was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yep, same here actually. It got up to 40 today. It was really nice.
What the heck? I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Bring on the spring. I'm ready for my shorts, t-shirt, and bare feet. That will be my happy place.
What a weird winter.
It has been. It's been it was like winter was just like 1 week. There was like one week of winter for everybody. And then it's kind of back to the thaw. I just hope it rides it out through the rest now. So, hey, at least Sheldon doesn't look like Max Headroom, Rachel says. Do you know Max Headroom?
I don't know who that is.
Oh my God, that's from the 80s. That's kind of, it's, there was a, they kind of made it look like he was a computer generated guy, but it was actually the actor that's, I don't know what actor, God, I don't know his name, but it was really kind of cool. You have to look it up.
Yes.
And he would
I have
stutter
seen
and,
that.
you know, electronically stutter and stuff. It was pretty
Yes.
cool. It was
I've
pretty
seen
cool.
that. Hey, I wouldn't mind. He looks kind of handsome. I'd be okay with that.
Okay. Well, there you go. You can be Sheldon's Max Headroom.
Sheldon room.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
Shed room.
Shed room. God. All right. Let's continue on then. That was the news. Hopefully you guys learn something and feel like you are walking away being more enriched and robust and informed, because that's the scope of my attempts at every news, and maybe you did. So if you did, you're welcome. Max Frewer was Max Headroom. Matt Frewer.
Matt Frewer. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, I used to get a kid. I thought it was actually, when I was a kid, I thought, oh my God, that's computer generated. Where are we gonna get to? And then I heard and learned it was a con many years later. I was like, no, I thought that was real. I was like, that's amazing. So,
well, we just got there today. You know, these days we're there.
Well, now, but
We're there now.
Yeah, we made it finally. But we got a lot more to go. Good evening to you, SoCal Squatcher. Thank you for coming in.
Welcome.
You're welcome. All right. Do you say welcome or you're welcome?
No, I said welcome.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you're welcome. I'm like, wow. Just taking over.
Am I the star of the show? I'm taking up the whole screen.
Where?
On the YouTube side of things.
Well,
we go.
You're just behind, I think.
I'm the star of the show.
You were for a while.
New host.
You were while I reshaped everything, but
yeah, there we go.
I think you're all placed now, so we're good. Yeah, we're gonna get to another article. This one has to do with ghosts, because, well, we love the ghosts. Now, Sheldon, before you came in, the ghost radar, right upon starting up, said Edward. Right as soon as I started the show and got past the intro, and then it said enjoy. So, Edward and enjoy. So, I don't know if we got an Edward with us and he's just hanging out or what that is. But anyway, now, full disclosure, I'm not saying that because something happens on the ghost radar, it's actually paranormal. It may be, but it may not be. We don't know much about this stuff other than the ghost radar uses a magnetometer and several calculated algorithms to look for anomalies in the EMF field or EM field around the computer, but it may very well be detecting spiritual presences and energies. It may be detecting something else about EMF that we don't understand yet. And that's true for all ghosts investigation stuff. Like, we know very little about magnetism, really, other than, it's this kind of bizarre phenomena that, I mean, there is a science to magnetism and there's a lot known, but there's still a lot of anomalies about it that we don't quite understand. So I don't ever mean to imply that because something appears on the ghost radar, it's a ghost, because it may just well be just some kind of weird fluctuation in the magnetic field around here, and that might be triggering what looks like visits or activity. So, always keep that in mind.
At least you're not doing what a lot of shows on TV would do, is you don't have ghost expert under your name.
There are no experts in the paranormal. None.
Nope.
Not in paranormal, not in cryptozoology, not in any of this. So don't ever fall under the spell of expert, because there ain't none. But there's lots of people that are, of course, very devout and motivated and researching the hell out of it. And they're maybe authorities on the subject, but I would never call somebody an expert, because you can't be an expert until you can actively study something regularly. And nobody can, because we don't know where the paranormal happens or when or how, or it just happens. Had a ghostly knock on my bathroom door the other day, Chucky says. Wow. That's crazy. Wow.
That's been taking too long.
Yeah, Chucky, there was a line forming.
Ghost had to wait.
Yeah, exactly. He had to rinse his ectoplasm. All right. So we're going to get to the article that I've got pulled up for you guys that deals with ghostly stuff. And this comes from with Ranker, actually. It's a ranker.com article. And it says 17 people share their personal experiences with ghosts, personal encounters with ghosts. Now, I've had a bunch of encounters. I've shared several of them. And there's more that I've forgotten than I'll ever remember. It's just, I don't know, some reason a lot of this weird stuff happens around me, and that's okay. I'm okay with it, and it is what it is. And many of you all out there are very much the same. I guess, maybe by being interested in something, there is a magnetism that attracts to us, or a resonance, or a frequency that we engage in that draws these things to us. But the fact that my favorite ghost stories are those that happen to the skeptics. Because
yes,
those are by and large my favorite, because those are the people that ain't no ghosts, there ain't nothing out there, and then they'll have these phenomenal, bizarre events happen that just rock their world. And I think that's
those are the ones.
What?
Those ones I feel like you can trust the most.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's I don't know about the most, but definitely you can definitely get behind the fact that these are not the type of people that would probably be talking about it if it didn't just blow their mind, So
That's what that's what I mean. Like,
yeah, absolutely. So let's get to this article. This is by Leah Rose Emery from 2017, actually. So this is a little bit older, but February 21st, 2017. Looks like it was the last time it was updated. But the first one, and it looks like this is a Reddit scrape as well. It says saying goodbye from the user No Knockers. Okay. All right. I don't know what that means. Use your imagination. I don't know. It said my grandma called us in the middle of the night and said that her brother had just come and visited her, knocked on her door, and when she got up and answered, he waved at her and walked away. We told her it was just a dream and everything was okay, and her brother was fine. He was of good health. The next morning, we got the call. He'd passed away that night around the time she called us, about 11:13 p.m., if I remember correctly. Wow. So he came to say goodbye.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, my God, that's powerful, right? You meant enough that you came and said goodbye. Very cool.
Yeah.
So I think those are great stories. I love those stories. Yeah, I mean, it's still tragic to have to say goodbye, of course, but at least he came and said goodbye. It wasn't just like, oh, Phil died last night. It's like, oh no, I didn't say these things,
Yeah.
But then again, I wish everybody had these experiences. I wish everybody that lost someone they love had an experience like this, because then it would just be that knowing, like, okay, it's not goodbye. It's see you later. See you in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a see you later.
It's the unknown. I think that is the hardest part about all this, letting go of somebody, because we just, I mean, we may know, but there's always that doubt. There's always that part of us that goes, what if this, they're just gone, or what if they're in a bad place, and what if they didn't make it to the good part? Maybe maybe they ended up in the, sucking or something, you don't know. So I think that's
scary. That's so scary.
Right.
Yeah.
It is, so I think that's cool. Very cool story. So nice job. No Knockers. May not have knockers, but you got a good story.
That's true. Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Okay.
I just had to go. I'm sorry. I had to go there. It was just there. It was sitting there.
Just hanging down.
I couldn't ignore it anymore. I'm only human. Don't hate me.
Fair enough. We're only human.
There's only so much I can resist. All right. All right. This is from Nile, Nihl. And I just realized, no, never mind. Never mind. God.
What? All right.
All right. Let me go to the next story. No, I'm just the inspector. All right. Here we go from Nile. It says, I never saw a ghost, but I did rent a haunted house for a year unexpectedly. Like, in other words, they didn't know it was haunted, and it turned out to be haunted.
I accidentally am.
Yeah.
How did I do that?
Yeah, I didn't see that on the application. It was an old house built in the very early 1800s. The rent was decent, and it was a stone's throw from a bar that we used to went to. We always went to. Sorry. When we moved in, there was a couple renting the first floor, and we were on the second. My roommate and I started noticing some strange things going on. Some I can probably explain away, and some I can't. A door that would open for weeks would be open for weeks would slam in your face as you went into the next room. A few items would fly off the mantel, not fall gently off the edge. Fall a good few feet from the shelf. This only happened a few times. My roommate's computer would fire up and start loading Rainbow Six in the middle of the night. Though didn't see any kind of scheduled task that would do this. His clock radio would also go off at random times in the middle of the night and play the radio. The worst part for me was my roommate worked nights, so I was always by myself. And each night I would go to bed, lay there, and get that feeling that someone was standing right in the doorway looking at me. Not an angry feeling, just the sense that someone was definitely there. I would constantly shut my eyes and get such a strong feeling of being watched. Open my eyes and look at the doorway and repeat this over and over again. It seemed to us that things picked up whenever something changed in the house. Shortly after moving in, the couple downstairs broke up. Things happened more often while she was moving out. About 6 months after that, the boyfriend lease was up and he moved out, and a new couple moved in, and the activity picked up again. My wife, girlfriend at the time, simply would not go in the house if I wasn't home. I would often find her sitting on the front steps waiting for me. One night we blew a fuse, yes, old screw-in fuses. God, I remember those. And I was home alone, so I had to go down and change it. The basement was just a dirt floor. And as I'm down there, I remember thinking to myself, this is right out of every horror movie ever made. Yeah, I mean, that's probably right. I honestly, and I've said it many times, I'll say it again. If you want to know if your house is haunted, start remodeling.
Yep.
That's how you find out. Because I suppose there's the attachment to the house, whatever this presence is attached to the house, and they like it the way it is. That's their home. That's what they know, or the way they liked it. So when you start changing things, then they get a little freaky. So they get a little miffed or put off. And I wonder if they would ever spent the time and figured out what was the triggers that made stuff get knocked off the shelf and stuff. If they would slow down and just look at what's going on that might have precipitated that or caused that, that reaction. So yeah, those screw-in fuses were crazy, weren't they? Cool hand. Did you ever do the penny trick?
The penny trick.
Yeah, when those fuses burned out, sometimes if you didn't have a replacement fuse, you could just grab a penny and put it on the backside of the fuse and screw it in, and it would work, but it would just become a horrible fire hazard.
Oh God!
So
no,
you could only do it. I mean, some people did it just forever. They're like, oh, put a penny in there and screw it shut, and it's working, and it'll never burn out again. But the problem is that fuses are supposed to burn out when there's a problem, and in those cases they don't. They just start arcing and start fires and stuff. So yeah, I had a old 1894 Victorian home, and it had the screw-in fuses down in the basement, and I always had to go down and change those. And yeah, I remember those. I thought about the penny thing a few times, like, God, I don't have a fuse. No, I got to go down and get it. So I didn't do it either, but I thought about it. I was like, God, you can just get this going. Not much of a safe fuse. You're right. Yeah, they aren't. But yeah, they were. I mean, it was what we had, so we did what you did. I didn't want to rewire that old house, so I just kept using them. I think the people that bought it from me, they renewed all the wiring and stuff and put in breakers. But
I did a lot more than that. But yes.
What's that? Oh yeah, well yeah, there was a lot needing doing, but it was a great house. You remember
I
that?
loved it.
Yeah, that was your first home. That was your
Nice.
first home. So,
And
all right, let's go to the next one. This is by Evil Arts. There's a name. This is called A Messy Ghost. This is a short one. My mom lives in this old 1800s era house, so I'm sure there's lots of drafts, loose boards, etc. And I was sitting alone upstairs when all of a sudden I hear a loud noise. Well, I go downstairs to the basement and find that the Sam's Club size bottle of powdered detergent had been propelled from next to the washing machine into the far wall of the basement. Man, that was a mess to clean up. Wow. I mean, that's a huge thing, right? That's a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Something was pissed. Did not like that fragrance at all. I don't like spring breeze. God, you guys suck. No, I'm just kidding. You know what I hate? And this is just me. And if it's just me, I don't know. But what is the one? It's like linen or something, white linen or something. God, that is the most pungent, stinky thing that I've ever smelled.
What?
You know what? You know, like the detergents that say white linen or fresh linens or whatever.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
Oh God, I hate that. Oh, it's just
I
horrible.
love that smell.
Oh, no, no, that stuff is nasty. Oh my God. It's yeah. All right.
I mean, if I'm thinking of the same thing, oh my God, no, I don't know.
I'm hoping you're not. I'm just hoping you're not because it would, you'd have to be like, I don't know how old to think that was a good smell. I don't like it at all. It's just, I like the flowery, make me, smell pleasant odors, not clean sheets. It's like, okay.
You know what they should do? Oh my God. They should have detergent
Yeah.
that is like, smells like certain types of cologne or perfume.
Oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool. It might be your $1 million
You don't
idea.
even have to spray. You don't even have to spray anything. It's already smelling like cologne.
Yeah, but
you don't have to worry about it.
But how long is that going to stick in a sheet? I mean, the things wear out, so you'd have to spray it, right?
Oh, I mean, how often are you wearing the same clothes over there?
Well, I mean, I wash my clothes all the time, so like, if it was a fabric with the smell imbued in it, it would wash out, right?
I'm saying a detergent. It would have the cologne infused into it.
Oh yeah, but God, imagine the price of that. just getting a flower smell, just getting the colognes sometimes is like, oh my God. So
that's true. Yeah. But that would be like a rich people product. That's why you make millions off of it, because it's a rich people product.
Yeah. Mr. Musk, your bed is ready. Yeah.
Exactly.
Your Chanel sheets are ready. All right. All right. This one's next. An Indian burial ground is next from DS/DX. I fell in love. Good. My first time with a truly amazing girl. My first time. Yeah. It happens all the time now. We moved in together after dating 2 months. I moved in with her because her rent was ridiculously cheap for Santa Barbara. Before I moved in, she told me, I don't want to freak you out, but my house is haunted. Well, being the rational scientific guy that I was, I said, sure, whatever you say. I didn't believe one word of it. In fact, when I tell people this story today, I don't expect them to believe it either. A little background on the house. It was a fairly old shotgun style, with peeling paint on the outside and 40-year-old plaster and lath inside. Morning glory vines covering one entire exterior wall and were making their way inside. They grow in through windows and cracks in the walls. And one had found its way into a cupboard and wrapped it around an old martini glass, lifting it slightly off its base, suspending it in the air. Wow, that's kind of wild. Yeah, it got bugs, maybe? Jesus. The lease in one of her old roommates' name was 5 years expired, and the landlord hadn't been there in much longer than that. Someone had built an illegal addition onto the back of the house at some point. Needless to say, I fell in love with the house immediately. The story she told, which she told me had been researched in the library by her and others, goes like this. When the Spanish settlers would execute a Native American, they would hang them from a tree, and then when they were dead, cut the rope, bury the body where it fell. The Native Americans called the area they did this the place where the white oaks grow. Catchy, ain't it? And this is my new backyard. It was illegal to dig down more than 6 feet, yep, an Indian burial ground. And one day I was sitting on the floor alone in our room, screwing around on the computer, and I reached in my pocket and retrieved my pack of smokes. I had barely put it into my mouth when I felt something bounce off my knee. My lighter, which had been sitting 3 feet away on top of the turntables, was now sitting on the floor next to me. Another time I was reading in our bed when I heard something underneath the bed. Pretty freaked out, but curious nonetheless, I peered over the edge of the bed and watched an empty wine bottle roll from underneath and then back out again. I was standing at my mixer playing some records when all of a sudden I felt something grab the back of my shirt and pull it sharply. The front of my shirt was pressed sharply against my Adam's apple for a brief instant, and then the tension released. Heart pounding, adrenaline surging like Niagara Falls, I spun around, fists up instinctively, to find nothing. I put my back against the wall and just tried to relax when it happened again. Just a quick jerk from the hem of my shirt, but this time there was a plaster wall at my back. A few more things happened, but this post is long enough already. I never felt threatened, but I had my rational and logical mind challenged to a degree that I never thought possible. I don't have any explanation for that house or the things that occurred, and I don't imagine I ever will. Wow. So what do you think? Is that a danger sign? Getting jerked around like that by a spirit?
Warning sign, if anything. But
yeah. It kind of seems like it, because that does seem a bit more aggressive. Like it's yanking your shirt, and does it progress from there? Well, apparently not. But that's still creepy, right?
Absolutely.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I always figure that's the barrier. Is when things happen around you, that's one thing. When they happen directly to you, that's completely another thing. And
that's breaking your space. It's breaking your bubble. It's,
right. That's where it becomes, wait a minute. That's not right. That's not okay. And that's where anytime anything's been happening around me, it's always around me. It's not been to me. I've not been, directly affected by something other than just seeing it happen. So, but I think if you've got some jerking on your shirt, that to me is at least cautionary. Like, well, that's kind of an aggressive thing. And it's, you're right, breaking like a territory. Like, this is my space, that's your space. Honor that. So I don't like that one. I think that's, I guess it turned out fine, but to me that would be like, oh, wait a minute. This is not good.
Oh yeah, that's just too much. Yeah.
Journey.
Is
a Journey? So Journey, the ghost box says Journey.
Oh.
Okay.
Like the band? Or...
I don't think it's the band. I don't think they're going with Journey the band. Don't stop believing. Paranormal Portal theme.
Maggie says, Mr. Maggie just said that's what happened to him when he lived in an old house, Wilds at a university.
Ooh. Something yanked on him?
Jeez.
That's a little nerve-wracking to me. There's, it's just that barrier between when things happen around you or to you, because when they're happening to you, it's very direct and it's very personal. So I don't like that one. Yeah. I'm glad it worked out okay for Mr. Maggie.
Yeah.
That's
no
creepy.
Kidding.
Hold on to that feeling. Maggie's singing with me. I just was listening to Journey, Separate Ways, the other day. I was like, oh yeah, that's a great song. All right. So this one's called I'm Outta Here. This is by somebody who's a deleted Reddit user. They just got tired of Reddit, I guess, and said nope. But let's see what they said. They said, I went to sleep in my bed one night a while back, and as I was laying there, I heard a dragging sound in the carpet next to the bed. Kind of like if you were to drag your foot slowly across the carpet for a few seconds. Well, I thought nothing of it and continued to lay there and then heard it again. And I realized it was very distinct and definitely not my imagination. So I sat up, unable to see anything in the dark, and thought, okay, if this freaking happens again, I'm out of here. And sure enough, right next to me. So I went and slept on the couch and refused to sleep alone in my own bedroom for 5 months or so. A couple of months ago, I got over it. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. And those one-off things like that, they're weird. It's like, well, what's going on there? Just one-off, something happened. You know?
So what's the point? Just for one-offs.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure, but
trickster, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe just somebody getting a rise out of them, like, they're there. Let's see what happens. See what they do about this. Hey, watch this. Hold my beer. You know, I don't know.
You get bored and move on. You know?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, okay. So here's the thing: you're a ghost. You're stuck in a home. You're there, and these people are all around you. Wouldn't you sometimes just go, watch this? You know, wouldn't you just sometimes want to just get a rise out of people? It's like, yeah.
All the time, yes.
You thought you're alone. Nope. I don't know. I probably would too. I don't know.
I'd mess with the skeptics.
Oh, yeah. If you got a skeptic there, then definitely. You should go full poltergeist. Yep. Just kidding.
Stack chairs on top of each other. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Turn around and their furniture is rearranged. Yeah.
Yes.
That kind of stuff. That's great. All right. So here's from iMyth. It says, I was at a friend's house when his stepfather was in the hospital. We just finished watching this movie about the Holocaust. And we're talking about it in his living room. And then this freaking blood-freezing moan of despair comes from the next room. We both just stare at each other like, what in God's name was that? And both thought perhaps his mom had just gotten news about his stepfather's death. He went to check on her, but it turned out she was sleeping in her daughter's room on the opposite side of the house. There was nobody in that side of the house at all. Ooh. Disembodied moans. What do you think?
Creepy.
So I got to wonder in that case. So they just watched a movie about the Holocaust, which is, of course, God, there's probably not a more emotionally charged event in our modern history, just with the tragedy and sadness and such. So that's, when you watch that, of course, you're going to feel that empathy. You're going to radiate that out. So is it possible that something got called to them and then continued to talk about it afterwards? So they're constantly rehashing the energy of this event. Maybe they inadvertently summoned something,
I can see that. Absolutely. I mean, it's almost like you don't even have to say, is it possible? Because I think, of course, it is. But I get the sentiment of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it makes sense to me. Or at least some sympathetic spirit that can relate to that or whatever. They asked the old man, what? And he said that one of the sites at the end of my bed. Oh. I don't know what Maggie's talking about. Let's see.
Well, SoCal Watchers did say earlier, my daughter, when she was very young, said she saw a bearded man in our family house. My father, who was bearded, had passed a few years prior in that home. I'm sure she saw him.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I don't know if it's related to that, but maybe.
Yeah, no doubt. Rachel says, once years ago, I was visiting a friend of mine, and I woke the next morning to shower and had a bite from my chest to above my waist.
What?
You had several bites or one bite, or was it?
What is a big bite?
like a human mouth, Rachel, or what do you mean? Or RJ, what do you mean? That's crazy. Yeah, bites are freaky. That's really freaky. My house isn't even old. Had human deaths, but we still get transient spirits and lots of animal spirits. Yeah, and I think some of that misfire is just that perhaps your energy. I think there are transient spirits. I think that not all spirits are confined to a space, that some just come and go. Maybe they follow you. Maybe they check you out. Maybe it's your light, your resonance, your energy. They come to see who you are, what you're all about. Yeah, I think that it was one bite.
Jeez.
Wow.
I mean, I've woken up with scratches like on places on my back where I literally can't reach.
Oh, really?
So like just having a bite.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was in the Minnesota home, the Wakuda house.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Wow. I think
I'm sure you.
that.
I mean, you probably looked at him. You just probably
I,
don't remember.
I think
But
I
yeah.
remember that now. Yeah. Yeah. Just
It was near my back. I can't reach, so I knew it wasn't me.
yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff we experienced through the years.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond the grave back rub,
Oh, wow.
as if on cue.
Yeah.
It says from so how long can my name be is the actual Reddit user name. I was sleeping on a friend's couch and felt someone sit down behind me and start rubbing my back. I rolled over to tell him I wasn't his wife and nobody was there. Ooh. Chills, right?
Ghosts would do that to me.
I know, right? It's like, yeah, a little more on the neck there, please. Yeah.
Oh, please.
I know.
Please, the massage therapist spirits out there, please.
I need the massage therapy haunting.
I summon you.
Yeah. Well, be careful what you summon.
No, just this the one that does massage therapy, none else. That's the only one.
Oh, they all know massage therapy.
That's the secret. They all do.
Yeah. The next one is I heard my mom screaming from user morally inept. Ooh. I was probably 7 and what?
Oh, nothing. What a name. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. Way to shoot for the stars. I was probably 7, sharing a room with my 2 brothers when I saw something. I woke up in the middle of the night and saw a small bar of light dancing on the heater of the room. Well, I was scared and tried to wake my brothers, but being on the top bunk and too scared to move, I was unsuccessful. Then something said my name, and I nearly peed my pants. It disappeared, and a few minutes later, my mom started screaming that there was something in her room. And that's where it ends. Wow. That's crazy.
So abrupt.
Well, it's like a visitation, right? So
I guess so.
I would probably think that something like that is a familiar spirit, like a grandparent or something stopping in. But you never know. I mean, our grandparents don't normally look like bars of light, so it's not a good way to help recognize them. I think, if they're going to do that, they should look like themselves to help kind of identify what the hell's going on. So anyway. All right, here's the next one. AV Nerd writes this one. I don't want to talk about it, except he does, apparently. It says, on Thanksgiving years ago, we were going to have dinner at my cousin's house. I'd gotten a turkey and made dressing and all, but had so much other baking to do that I took the turkey over to their house to roast. Well, I arrived early in the morning and my cousin's husband let me in the front door. Their house is pretty old, but it had been restored. From the front door, there was a hallway to the kitchen, and in the middle of the hallway was a door to a small bathroom. The bathroom was so small that the door opened out into the hallway. My cousin's husband walked ahead of me so that he could close the door to the bathroom. Instead of closing it and walking on into the kitchen, he stepped into the bathroom, pulled the door closed so that I could continue into the kitchen, carrying the roasting pan heavy with the turkey. As I passed the now closed bathroom door, I remember tremendous energy moved through the hallway, sort of like a strong wind, and also moved through me. I took a step or two more as I was entering the kitchen. As I was entering the kitchen, a very large man stormed by me, gruffly walking through the kitchen and went through the swinging door to the side dining room. Just as that happened, my cousin's husband popped out of the bathroom and walked into the kitchen. I was just standing there, holding the turkey, and I said to him, "Did you see that?" And then I looked over to the small swinging door. He, a very in-your-face New Yorker, looked at me straight in the eye and said, "I don't want to talk about it," and then turned around and went upstairs. I put the turkey pan down and went into the dining room, but there was no one there. Wow. That's pretty crazy.
Jeez.
That's a pretty robust apparition then, right?
Very. Yeah.
And he doesn't want to. I don't want to talk about it, huh? Good busting my chops. Just cook the damn turkey, huh? Jeez. Yeah, Padoos.
Serious.
Yeah, I mean, it's like less yappy, more cookie. Sorry, I'm just being an idiot.
With a mic.
Mm-hmm. The mic is a given. If you can hear me, you know I got it. All right, next up. Your ghost is gone now, Grandma. I think this might be the last one. This is from Niall again, same person. Last year, my brother and his family moved back from the West Coast and stayed with my parents for a few months before finding a house of their own. Each year, my parents had host a huge family party on Christmas Eve. This past year, my 33-year-old cousin went up to my parents' room to get his wife's coat off my parents' bed, and he said he walked into the room, and there was this old guy standing next to the bed, and he said to the guy was wearing a red plaid shirt, dirty overalls, and had a full white beard. My cousin was confused, but thought maybe it was a neighbor or something that my parents had invited. I was there when he came down and asked my mom who that guy in their room was. My mom thought he was busting balls, and then forgot about it. My parents started thinking back, and then a few weeks before, they heard a really loud bang in the house. Well, they looked everywhere thinking a shelf had tipped over or something, but couldn't find anything out of place. A few minutes later, they stopped. They heard it again. And this is at about 9 at night. A few weeks later, my 5-year-old nephew out of nowhere says to my mom, "You have a ghost. You know, he has a white face." My mom tried to play cool, but it kind of freaked her out, since my nephews were living there at the time. A few weeks later, he said, "Your ghost is gone now, Grandma," and they haven't had any other experiences since. Wow. How about that, huh?
Crazy.
Crazy. Crazy for being this ghostly. How about that? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe the holidays inspires those kind of things. Maybe he wanted to help celebrate, but he's hanging out with all the coats on the bed. He likes hanging out with the coats better than the rest of the family. I don't know. Maybe. But there's more. The article isn't over. There's more. A black tri-cornered hat. Is that like those old, my hat, it has 3 corners has my hat, and had it not 3 corners, it would not be my hat.
Hey, can I be right back?
You can be whatever you want. So,
okay, I will be right back then.
All right, go ahead. All right, so we're going to go to this one. This is by Utensil is the Redditor that submitted this one. Says, I was startled awake a few years ago by a ghost standing beside my bed as I napped on a sunny afternoon while others were downstairs on the deck enjoying a barbecue. He was in a dark cloak with a hood. Well, that's never a good sign. Head bowed, and he appeared to be holding a small book in his hands before him, and he had been seen many times since by my other visitors, but never again by me. My mother later admitted that a similar figure had appeared in her bedroom just below this one within the first month of her living in the house, which she built. Only he held nothing in his hands, though he was holding them out in front of him. And he wore a black tri-cornered hat. His hands were always in front of him, and he usually appears to be holding something, but he's also appeared twice as a woman, wearing something like a wedding veil over his head and holding flowers. How can you say that's the same spirit, though? I don't think you can. And yes, I've done some research on the history of the land where this house is built, and there was a French trading post in the 1700s about 90 miles from here, and you can still see the remnants of an old railroad track with a foundation nearby out in front of this house, which existed before the lake was created. Huh, okay. Interesting. Time is a human construct, yeah. I think you're right about that. Huh. Interesting. I don't think that the cloaked figure and the woman with the wedding veil are necessarily the same entity. Could it be? I guess, sure. I think they can probably appear however they want to, but I don't think that it's necessarily one and the same. I'm not sure why this author does, but anyway, it's their experience. Who am I to say? Let's go to Goosebumps from AV Nerd again. Second submission from this person. The first memorable one was when I went to the house of a family friend who had just moved to our town. She invited me into her kitchen for tea, and we sat at a small table and were visiting. At one point, she excused herself, so I sat there alone. And then I glanced across the room to the stove and saw a man hanging by the neck. Ew. I don't know why I wasn't scared, but I wasn't. When I looked again, he was gone. When my friend returned, I said to her, I don't know if this is going to mean anything to you or not, but I just saw a man hanging by his neck over there, and I motioned towards the stove. She went white and said, there's no way you could know this because we didn't tell anybody, but the reason we moved here is because our roommate hung himself in our basement 2 months ago. And that's when I got goosebumps. Yeah, no doubt. Jeez. That's creepy. It is really tragic when you think of spirits and them possibly being stuck in that death state. I think that's that really breaks my heart because what a way to exist, to have to exist in that last moment over and over. I think that's really pretty sad, really pretty tragic. And, I don't know. What are you doing there? So it said instance. That's an instance. It is an instance. But yeah, that's creepy. Next one is friendly cologne bottle. A friendly cologne bottle. This is from Undo Trois Kid. Undo Trois Kid. 1, 2, 3. Okay. It's French for 1, 2, 3. All right. My family bought a used car. There was some random stuff, nothing weird, just normal stuff you would find in a car trunk. One of the things found was a nearly full bottle of cologne. Now, I've never worn cologne, but my mother said to hold on to it for some reason, and I did. Flash forward to the end of 10th grade, and that day was the day we were supposed to turn in our school books. I had a psychology class, and there was 3 different books for that class, but we mainly just used one. And that was the only one that I was going to take back that day. So I was sitting at the foot of my bed, getting ready for school, when out of the corner of my eye, I saw the cologne bottle tip and then straighten back up. I immediately snapped my head over to look at it, and I stood up and I saw that the cologne bottle was standing on top of my other psychology books that I was supposed to return that day. Okay. I don't know what that means, if that's not where it was or whatever, but anyway, yeah. Whoa, Omar. What's up with you? Omar. All right. And the next one is he died jumping from the terrace. Or it says from the terrace. Jumping form, but I think they meant from. This is Andaru submits, I'm a skeptic and atheist, but after my mother died, I felt the need to explore with weird ideas. So I went to one of those new age courses to unlock the powers of the mind, firmly committing myself to try to debunk and disbelieve anything strange so I would not be influenced by other people. Well, it started harmlessly enough with thought exercises to relax, recall stuff you might have forgotten, or find the solution to a problem. And on the second day, however, the stuff escalated to how we try to learn things about each other with our minds. I turned on all my skeptic reasoning, but I followed along. We had to concentrate on a random unknown person in the room and try to get some images of their lives to describe it to everyone. So we begin. And I focus on a girl in the room, and I do get something, the square of a small town with mountains in the distance, a bakery, an apartment nearby with a terrace, a dog that's jumping, and I reason that it's all probably made up by my imagination, so I decide to tell it back partially to see if the girl fills in missing details. The conversation goes like this. Me. I saw a small town near some mountains with a small shop of some kind in the corner. She, a bakery? Said, well, it might be. Well, that was my grandfather's bakery. I used to visit him sometimes. And I saw an apartment nearby with a terrace. Wow, that was his home. Did he have a dog, a black and white dog? Yes, he died jumping from the terrace. I was really freaked out by this. Yeah, see, no, that's not really a ghost story, but that's crazy. Omar, good to see you. Your new name. Nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you for stopping in and checking out the show. It's very nice to meet you. Hope you enjoy yourself. And hopefully you'll subscribe and become part of the family. Because, we always need more family. Yep. Very cool. Always good to meet new people. All right, here's Flying Gots. So the proofreading is not always on par here, but it's a Flying Gots. This is by CKD Cosmos 4805. I was at a camp in the Adirondack Mountains, way in upstate New York, sleeping on a tarp on the beach of an island in Lowe's Lake. My troop had gone onto the lake to watch the meteor shower that night. While looking up, we saw what looked like an orange star, except it was moving at 90-degree angles. No satellite does that, nor does any plane or helicopter I know of. Crazy stuff. That's a UFO. That is not a ghost. It's not a GOTS either. That's a UFO. Or a UUP. Anyway. Creepy Laughter's next. This is by a deleted Reddit user. I don't know how much more we got to go here. Yeah, that's only a couple more left. All right. Then we'll be done and move on to the cryptids. This is from a deleted Reddit user, Creepy Laughter. A friend and I were walking through a field. Bordering this field were two schools. One to the left of us, parented a field of its own behind it, so for several hundred yards, and one to the front of us. Both of these schools were old, so far as I know, built around the 20th century, turn of the 20th century rather, maybe earlier. The one ahead of us was abandoned. We were passing through the field when out of our left we heard a loud echoing sound of prepubescent and girly laughter. We bolted and freaked out. Things to consider. It was late at night, well past 10. It was the middle of the damn summer, so school wasn't even in session. And it was locked up real well, I'm sure. And we were far away from the school, and we could still hear it. It didn't sound like it was coming from speakers or a megaphone. It had an echoing, ethereal quality to it. Yeah, that'll sharpen your senses. And here's the last one from this article. So, hope you guys have enjoyed this. This one is from Mike Lynn, PA. I imagine Pennsylvania, but anyway. I'm the youngest of 5 and the only boy. My next sister is only 2 years older than me, and we were very close as kids. We would walk around hand in hand, and she would translate my baby talk for our parents to understand. She was my little mommy, and we're still very close. I would frequently hurt myself. I'm a klutz, car accidents, cuts, falls, etc. And sometimes she would feel it. Not always, but sometimes she would call me and ask if I was all right, or ask about it the next time we saw each other. So occasionally, her pain would correspond to an injury I had. To backtrack a bit, when I give blood or get blood drawn for tests, the techs always use the same vein on the same arm. I asked them to use the left arm so my right arm isn't sore, but they always tell me the veins aren't good there. So they go back to the same old spot on the right arm. Makes it annoying to use the mouse on the inside of the elbow aching. And one day, for no reason at all, that spot on my arm is hurting, and it feels like I have an IV needle in my arm and the big one used to donate blood. I would rub it, but it wouldn't change, and I would feel that friggin' needle in my arm for 3 days. It hurt like that for no reason I could find, and nothing I did made it feel better worked. A few days later, I visited my sister's home and asked her if she'd given blood that week, and she just stopped and stared at me for a minute and asked why. I explained about the phantom pain, and she then tells me her daughter, my niece, had just driven back to college, and I only missed her by a few hours, and she had her blood drawn that week, and that the tech blew the vein really bad. Her arm was purple from shoulder to wrist on the inside of the arm, and she was sore as hell from it. I do not know why it only happens sometimes or at all, or if it is just a coincidence. It is not consistent enough to test or validate in any way, nor even put any rhyme or reason to, but sometimes she feels my pain, and that one time I felt my niece's pain. Wow. There you go. Those are some ghost stories, folks. What do y'all think? You know what I think? It's going to be time for shout outs is what I'm thinking. So if you all want to shout out, you got to talk in the chat so that Sheldon sees that you're here, because Sheldon's going to be doing the shout outs. So give you a couple seconds here to say something in the chat, or I don't know what the delay is like, but sometimes the YouTube delay is like a minute, and other times it's just a few seconds. So I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see.
We will see, because it's time for some shout outs.
Hey. Few more seconds, giving a few more time. Let's see names popping in, more popping in. We're popping. And no more popping, so here we go. Welcome in, Aussie Tiger, Casey Jones Astrology, Grumpy Owl, John Labella, John Temperine, Cool Hand, welcome in, Karen Alberting, Lady J Homestead, Maggie M10, Miss Firejack, Nathan Nate, Dad's here, RJ Windwalker's here. Oh man, I'm seeing more names. D Longrock, welcome in. Here, saw a huge jump. Rachel gets it right. Yes, she does.
Hi, D Longrock.
Smoking Guns, Fab Shop. Oh, I saw more names.
Okay.
Hardwick Big D.
Yep.
SoCal Squatcher, Weapon X5. I like that name. And Wizard Moon. Who did I miss?
I don't know. I think that's all of them, I think. I've been watching the chat to see if people have come in and saying anything. But if we got everybody, great. If not, say hello in the chat so that we can say hello to you. But thank you all for being here. It is always our distinct pleasure to be welcoming you to the shows. To the shows. You betcha.
Yes. Got to represent that Minnesota accent.
I was just going to say, guess where I'm from? Oh, you betcha, don't you know? Oh, for crying in the mud. Hey, Brent, I love the work you do, and I like following you on X. Oh, thank you, D. I don't really do much on X at all. You know, I just post show notes. I kind of suck at social media. So.
Yes, he does.
Oh, thank you very much for that. That helps so much. But thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I certainly I'm thrilled that you are following me. Thank you so much. I will try to get better and get more interesting on X, but I don't know. I should get on there and do like surveys or whatever. But sometimes you put out questions and it's like crickets. You know, it's like okay. You know, I don't have a huge following on X, just a few hundred people, but I should probably put some work in that so we get a robust following on all our social media. It's just I'm not very adaptable sometimes, you know. Anyway, thank you so much. It's great to meet you, and thrilled that you're here. That's really cool. Let's see. Lots of comments. Somebody, RJ was talking about some faceless baby in Mexico. Jeez, that's creepy as hell.
Faceless.
I think one that would creep me out would be that faceless baby that is seen crawling and screaming down the street in that town in Mexico. Ugh. Yeah, that'll reset your heartbeat. Ugh.
Oh, yes. Maggie X is Twitter. Yes.
It is. It's the new face of Twitter. Elon's new face for it.
I just call it Twitter. I don't know. This whole X
Everybody still does.
Yeah. I don't even know why the name changed. It's called Twitter.
Because it's his and he can call it Daisy if he wants to. I mean, you can call it whatever the hell he wants.
Your first instinct was. That's what I'm curious of. What was your first instinct?
Bubbles, I think, was my first.
Bubbles?
Yeah. You can call it Bubble Land if he wants. I don't know. Anyway, it's Elon Musk. He can do whatever the hell he wants. he paid billions to buy it, so if he wants to call it anything, he sure can. X is all right. I think it's, that's based on the idea that he always wanted to start a platform called X that would kind of be the place for everything. And I think that's what his scope and plan is for the platform and in a matter of development. Depending on the advertising and stuff, because man, some people like to throw a lot of shade at Elon.
Yes, they do.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm, to each their own, but I think he's pretty incredible guy. From what I know, I don't pretend to know the guy, but he's done some incredible stuff. So he's moved the needle forward. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's really moved the needle forward. So we're going to get to the cryptids now, folks. I don't know what time it is. Yeah, oh my God. It's 8:27 already, Sheldon.
Basically 10:30. Oh my God.
How did we get here? It was supposed to be 8.
It's illusions. It's all illusions.
It was supposed to be 8.
It was supposed to be 8 o'clock.
It's supposed to be 8. But
apparently not.
1910.
Yeah, 1910. So, sorry, I think it's weird, but what do you do? I don't know. I don't know who D's talking to there.
Probably not you.
Okay, probably not me. I'm just trying to jump in the middle of things. Jeez, what am I thinking? What am I thinking being all nosy? I'm listening on my phone and it's terrible for chat. Yeah, phones are tough. I've never been a texter and stuff, so I do everything on computer as much as I can.
I've noticed.
Well, yeah, I hate texting. Yeah, are you kidding? These two pickles trying to hit those little letters and stuff? Oh my God.
I have pickles too. Where do you think I got them from?
But you started your life texting. I've had to adapt.
Oh, I did not.
Pretty much. You've had cell phones since they came out.
Nope. I got my first cell phone when I was like 15.
Yeah, but you've been texting since then. I didn't text for years and years. I just answered the damn thing. I just get
I'm
calls.
a millennial. Okay, I'm not
exactly.
Gen Z.
You're genetically encoded for technology much more than I am. And I'm Gen X, and we were the first technology what's the word? We were the first technology
I know what you're.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were like the testers, the prototype testers.
Oh my God, I can't believe when words just go from my head. It's like I feel like something sucked them right out. But yeah, we were the first to really utilize technology on a daily level more so than any other before. But millennials much more so than us, You guys were born into it. We got to learn it as it came out. But you guys
we're the upgraded version of what you guys could have been.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So maybe there is something with the genetic knowledge, right? Like, because I learned it became part of my genetics, and your mom, of course. And then when we had you were just already pre-programmed with, hey, we already know what this is. It's in my genetics. So that's why you guys are such machines, and probably why what's next after you? What's after mom?
But you did teach me how to build a computer.
I did. Yeah, I could build computers, and I did IT and networking and stuff. And, I used to do all that stuff. But even now, I'm so far out of it that I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore. All right.
Gen Z is Gen
Gen
Z is the next generation. That's the current one.
And right there, your little brother, when he was 1, could pick up his mom's phone, unlock it, do the code, and go to photos and swipe and look at the photos. At 1, I'm like,
starting out with life strong. There we go.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe there's something to this. At 1, I could barely do that at my age. At 1 year old, he was doing that. I was like, so I think there is something to that. That when you're born into something and it's part of your world, it just boom, you just suck it up like a sponge. And granted, young children absorb things so much quicker than adults do. So yeah. So anyway, no bigger than a shoebox. SoCal. All right, so I guess we can read a couple of these. I don't know, maybe 1 or 2. We'll try. We're going to visit SasquatchChronicles.com because it's one of my favorite sites in the world. and it's home of Wes Germer's Sasquatch Chronicles, and it's the home of his blog. And Wes oftentimes posts emails and stuff that he receives from listeners that may or may not become shows, but they are still incredible accounts. And I'm really thrilled that Wes does this because I think probably along with all of us, we learn more from listening to experience accounts, people that are witnessing these creatures, than we do from any other place in the world. I think certainly researchers have found some interesting stuff and maybe find some great behavioral patterns and things like nesting and stuff like that we may have never known. So I'm not discounting the work of researchers and enthusiasts, but people that see them and observe them are looking at these beings behave and interact with the world around them. And I think that's the greatest window into understanding them that we have currently. So it said 1910. I didn't see that. The ghost box said 1910. It said, enjoy journey instance 1910. So far. Edward, enjoy journey instance 1910. Okay. All right. So let's check it out. We're going to get to the first article from Sasquatch Chronicles blog is from January 24th, which is just 2 days ago. A day ago? Yeah, 2 days ago. So let's check this out. And this is Strange Events While Hunting. And special thanks to Wes. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you letting us use this and go through these. I think these are fascinating and incredible stories. So I appreciate it. But definitely go visit Sasquatch Chronicles blog because he posts so much stuff. And it's a great source of incredible information. So this last hunting season, I was at a state park in Loopton, Michigan. It is called the Rifle River Recreational Area and is around 4,450 acres of land that is near the Huron National Forest. Most of the land surrounding the park are woods and cornfields. About 25 minutes from there is West Branch, where they call the Bigfoot capital of Michigan. Not exactly sure why. I guess they must feel like they've got a lot of Bigfoot there. I'm just going to go out on a limb. I hunt in a pretty remote area of the park down some deer trails, and then through a thicket before it kind of opens up again. So if you didn't know where my tree stand is, you'd never find it. This is my second year at this spot, and since it's so hidden, I left my stand up all year, even though you're not supposed to. Right around dusk on opening day of rifle season, November 15th, I heard some weird animal noises. And there's an attached video, so I'll put the link in the show in the chat. You'll hear a noise right at the beginning of the video and another around 18 seconds in. You may have to turn up the volume, and it happened 4 times around 15 seconds apart and was coming from far off into the woods ahead of me. These 2 noises in the recording were the last 2 sounds I heard. I couldn't recognize the sound, so if you can, I'd love to know what animal is making it. Because it sounded like it was far away. The animal must have been large to have traveled that distance to me. Yeah. And it says the event. Anyway, about 5 days later, I was out there for my last evening hunt in the tree, and I got there around 1 p.m. and it was very silent. About an hour and a half later, around 2:30 p.m., I heard out of nowhere footsteps behind my tree. It sounded like it started about 20 feet behind me and went from completely silent to something actively moving. At first, I thought a deer must have been bedding in the thicket behind my tree and just got up and started moving around. The noise was heading straight to my tree, so I froze and didn't make a sound, thinking a large deer was going to walk out toward the clearing in front of me. As I listened, I could tell it was not a deer. It sounded more like a man, kind of dragging their feet into the leaves, and little sticks breaking under larger steps. After around 6 heavy steps coming my direction, and this thing sounding like it was right next to my tree now. 2 ghosts. Okay. In front of the tree now. Let's tell it's not a deer. Where is it? I lost my spot. After around 6 heavy steps coming in my direction, and this thing sounding like it was right next to my tree now, I was certain it was either another hunter or DNR. So I sat up more upright and swung my head around to the side of the tree to see what was directly behind me. But nothing was there. Then I thought maybe I can't see anyone because this guy is directly under me, so I moved my legs to peer under the slots of my stand, but there was nothing there either. I didn't hear any more noise, but I kept feeling someone must be right there, so I stood up around 15 minutes later and leaned way out to get a better view all around me. But nothing. I stayed out until dark, around 6 p.m., and didn't experience anything else. Out of the 12 or so days hunting in that spot, it was the first day that I didn't see a single deer there. In fact, the woods were completely silent the rest of the evening. He gives some background. He says, I'm 36 years old, grew up on 22 acres of woods in Michigan, and I'm always exploring day or night, building forts, goofing around with friends. I've been hunting for about 9 years around different areas of Michigan, and I've never heard the noises in the recording or experienced anything like I described. There was another incident that I couldn't explain when I was around 14. My dad and some of the buddies and their dads all rented a houseboat in Tennessee. We drove down there, got into this big boat, and drove it to the far end of the lake, can't remember the name, and parked it in some little cove we found. The cove was surrounded by woods and hills, and we parked the boat by tying the mortar end to some large trees on land and the nose end of the boat across the other side. Hopefully this makes sense. Sure it does. And on one night, one of my friends and their dads all wanted to watch a movie. But my dad wanted to bond with me by fishing off the mortar end of the boat. I really wanted to just watch the movie, but humored my dad by casting in a few times. It was very dark out, so other than that deck light, we couldn't see anything. Maybe 45 minutes in, we heard a large crash in the water on the other side of the boat. We put our poles down and ran through the boat to the other side to see a tree had fallen. We thought it was weird, but figured it could have just been an old tree. The next morning, we looked out there and again noticed it wasn't an old tree, but one that was 8 to 10 inches wide and had snapped about 5 feet from the bottom and fell in the water towards our boat. Me and my buddy and my dad all swam towards it later that day and looked around to see if it could have caused the tree to fall, but didn't see anything. It wasn't windy or raining the night it happened, and it just one tree that fell. It was splintered where it broke and didn't appear to have any rot or other damage, so it seemed like something broke it. Just another weird instance I can't explain. There are no way show-worthy stories. These are no way show-worthy stories, but I thought I'd share them nonetheless. Well, they're still great stories.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, a lot of accounts are this. There's very few sighting accounts. Not very few, but there's much less where people are actually seeing something, but way, way more where people are experiencing activity around them that they just can't explain. Now, that's crazy. Yeah. I don't know, an 8 or 10 inch sapling is a very, very, very strong tree. I don't know if it was a hardwood or what, but still, you don't splinter those very easily. So that's a hell of a lot of strength.
That's quite a bit of muscle density that would have to be able to do that.
Wild Man's mom says, wow, it took me an hour to get through the commercials. Hey, Al. What commercials?
Commercials, what?
I don't know. Did you get commercials, Wild Man's mom? That's weird. I'm sorry if you did. Huh. You shouldn't have. I don't know.
Oh, if they're ads, you can skip them. I'm pretty sure.
Well, some you can skip, some you can't. I don't know. It's YouTube's deal, I guess. Some of them are skippable, some of them aren't. But yeah, okay. Well, I'm sorry if you got a bunch of ads. That certainly wasn't by design. Very, very weird though. But yeah, a lot of stories are like this. They're shadowed in the woods. Their sounds, their experiences, their smells, their noises. But you know, not most Bigfoot encounters, I don't think are visual. They just aren't. And it's creepy to think that it sounded like it was right by the tree. and yet the person looked and saw nothing.
Hmm.
Now, I will tell you.
Mistress of disguise.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely.
Hiding.
I will tell you that I used to be in the woods all the time when I was young. And there are some things in the woods that can sound like something walking. And one thing in particular that I experienced many times as a young man in the woods, just goofing around, doing stuff on the hillside behind my home, was squirrels. Squirrels will kind of rummage through leaves, and sometimes they do it in a real, like almost a bipedal fashion, like it's as they're shooting through the leaves looking for stuff, or just being careful for predators or whatever, and that can mimic footsteps. So I don't know if always you can be sure that it's a footstep if you don't see it, but if you're hearing twigs popping and stuff too, then that indicates weight, which is a whole different thing. If it's just leaf noise, could be a lot of things, but it could also be a Bigfoot. I'm not saying it's not, but I think those are things to consider.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Yes, exactly. It is a good point, by God. A very
I'm
good
just
point.
saying, some point in my life, I want at least one close encounter with a Sasquatch. Just one.
A close encounter?
Not too close.
Let's define close. I'm just curious. What does close look like for you?
For me,
Yeah.
Within 500 feet,
Oh,
but not too close.
okay. So not like 20 feet. Like,
No,
Okay.
not that. No,
Okay.
that's called like I feel like I might die.
yeah,
Close.
that would be, yeah, scrape my underwear close. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the fudge stripe distance right there. Yeah, that's, I think I've been close once, and just the noise, and even as I close my eyes, I can still hear it, and the chills start all over again. It's like it was when I was 14, so to be growled at, it was horrifying, absolutely horrifying. And do I know that it was a Bigfoot? No, but for the life of me, it's the only thing I could think that it could be. Some people have suggested maybe Dogman, but I don't know. I have no concept of what a Dogman sounds like.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what a Bigfoot sounds like, but I've heard other recordings of Bigfoot growling, and it sounds very similar, but really much more bassy, much more resonant. But just being that close, which was very close, and I thought I was going to die. I've talked about this story, ad nauseum, but
Yep.
but it's still fresh in my head. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those memories that it's right on the surface, even though it's been decades and decades. It's like it was yesterday. You just can't forget it. And it gives me, and since then I have, since that one moment, because I was carefree in the woods before that. I was absolutely carefree. Just had no thought of it. I loved the woods. I was just in the woods and mindless, and just being a part of it, and having a blast. But it was the one experience that reshaped the woods for me forever, because it was just that something was there that was way too big and way too scary, and could
I
be
always
there.
forget.
You
I
know,
always forget this part. How close do you think it was again?
it's hard to say because I was a kid, but the volume of it was so loud, it rumbled my body, and it was close. I mean, it was close, probably maybe just 10 feet, maybe 20 feet. I don't know, but
Oh my God, that's extremely
the
close.
power was so strong. It was just like it vibrated me, and that's the part that scared me more than anything. It was just because I not only heard the noise, I felt it. It was shaking me, and I didn't know what to do with that. I'd never heard a sound like that before, especially from something alive. From music or machines, sure. I mean, that's just whatever. But this was something that I thought wanted to kill me. So it was just horrifying.
And I remember, I think,
No,
actually,
no smells.
years ago. What?
Oh, SoCal asked
Oh
if I
yeah, no
smelled it.
smells.
There was
Yeah.
no smell at all. Nothing. Yep.
I remember you took me to the area. It's close to that kind of ravine, right?
Oh, it was up the deep ravine, with
Yeah.
yeah, but the other area I took you to was where I found that structure years later,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that area.
Yeah, and that's way down the
Uh,
bluff by about a mile. So, yep.
Pretty far down. Yes.
Yep.
um, like the scariest thing too is that you heard, like, leading up to that noise, you heard nothing.
Mm-mm.
Like no
The funny thing
rustling.
is we were moving down, and so we must have had to pass it somewhere. I don't know where, because those woods aren't so deep and dark that you can't see. I mean, they're like,
Yeah.
these adult trees. It's, pristine forest. So it wasn't like it was full of brush and stuff and you couldn't see, past the trail or anything. It's pretty wide open. And so how we managed to move past something and not see it and then have it right behind us growling was just horrifying.
Yeah.
It's just creepy. So this story kind of reminds me of that, just hearing it coming and not being able to see it. Now I didn't look, but I didn't dare look because whatever was making that sound was going to kill me, and I didn't want to see it, so I knew what killed me looks like, and I didn't want to provoke it in any way. I just wanted to freeze, just statue. That's the only thing I could think. And he did the same thing, my friend. We just froze.
Oh yeah.
And just stood there, and it just kept growling and growling, and then we're like, what is that? I don't know, but we got to get the hell out of here. And boom, we just did. Now,
I mean, I've kind of empathized with that too. I'm not going to sit and be like, I would have looked. No, I would have absolutely frozen too. Like, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, because I mean that was the end of my life as far as I knew at that moment. That was where it was going to be done, and I just didn't want that memory. That'd be my last thing I saw was this big thing coming at me, whatever that was, and I didn't have a concept at the time. It wasn't until years later that I put together, oh my God, that could have been a Sasquatch. I just had a concept of something huge growling right behind us with such a growl as I've never heard before. And I carried that for years and just this uncertainty and unknown. It's like, and the only thing is that the one takeaway is I'm glad I wasn't alone because that would have been one of those memories like, God, did that really happen? Did that really happen? Or is that just some weird, brain thing? But I'm so glad that someone was there with me because it was real.
Yeah.
It was a real moment that we shared and talked about a few times after that, and then it just kind of got forgotten because we couldn't do anything with it, and that was it. It was a one-time event, but it's reshaped my feeling of being in the woods. It reshaped my fear, and
Probably respect for the woods too. Like, that
well, sure.
there's things in there,
Yeah, well, exactly, because I'd known those woods my whole life. I'd been playing in those woods every year for my entire life, and then they changed once that growl happened. They became a place I didn't know anymore, and it was really really harsh. But I mean, it's just one example. Is that did I have an encounter with Sasquatch? I don't know, but I had an encounter with something, and it was there, and it was absolutely freaking terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess creep right up on you. Yeah, I guess it did. But again, from these stories, many of these stories we talk about, they can move with absolute silence, and I don't know how that is, because leaf litter is leaf litter, and when it encounters weight, it crunches. But maybe they really can transform. Maybe they can do all this stuff that I can't quite wrap my head around. But at any rate,
Yeah, that's the craziest part of the mystery behind how they move and traverse. That is the craziest part because it is sound. Like so many stories we read that they don't hear anything. Like they'll
yes,
see them and then they're just gone, but there's no, like, it's not like they've ran away, that you could hear them just sprinting in there,
right.
Sometimes they're just gone.
Sometimes
That's the mystery.
sometimes it's just over.
Yeah.
They just, like the story we just read, it was just suddenly 20 feet behind the tree, and then it was up to the tree, and still it was nowhere. So maybe they do. I don't know. Whatever the case is, it's crazy. Hello, Mercedes. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in.
Mercedes.
Yep, Mercedes is a dear friend. She's working on a documentary right now. And I'm going to be doing some vocal stuff for that. So really excited about that moving forward.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to yawn into the screen, but I'm getting old, getting past my bedtimes. Time's your bedtime, Sheldon?
5 a.m.
5 a.m. Really?
Yeah.
You mutant. You've always been nocturnal, though.
Oh, yeah. I love nighttime. Nighttime's my favorite time. Absolutely.
I know it is.
Ooh, so peaceful. It is
is.
just the most peaceful time.
It is actually one of my favorite times, too. But, all these responsibilities and stuff, I got to get up. So, anyway. But I guess there's not going to be time enough for another article, so we're going to clip it there and call that.
Flip it, lock it, shut it, send it.
It was, that was signed, sealed, and delivered. That was the Cryptid Corner. Special thanks, Wes. Thank you so much for letting us peruse your articles and talk about them in your emails. Those are really awesome. And again, please support SasquatchChronicles.blog.com.
I will put in a link, a wonderful link.
SasquatchChronicles.com for sure. I didn't see in that last story, I didn't see any sound files, so I don't know what happened to those, but I was going to post the article, but it doesn't have any links to any sound files. So, but anyway, yeah, we're kind of nearing the end of the train. How about that?
Unbelievable. How does it happen? It's a mystery. Another illusion.
It is an illusion. But, it's not an illusion that we will be here every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday for the live shows. Some version of us, it's me and somebody, might have Jimmy tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't talked to him, so see if he's up for coming on.
Mr. Jimmy.
I got to get a hold of the Hometown Ghost Stories guys too. Get them back because I was going to have them back, and then I had to go be sick for a while, so I got to get that rescheduled. Get them on because I'm looking forward to that, having them on a Saturday show and diving into more of the strangeness and stuff. Those guys are so fun. If you haven't checked out Hometown Ghost Stories, please do. They're on YouTube and just fantastic guys. They do such a phenomenal job with their material and with their research, and they're just fun. They're just fun to listen to, and they're just a blast to hang out with. So if you wouldn't mind, go check them out. Hometown Ghost Stories on YouTube is where you're going to find them. I got to get them on the show. We were going to do it, and then I just didn't get better, and then ended up taking a medical holiday.
Oh,
Yeah.
we have an update from Rachel Gets It Right.
Yeah.
Edward was King of England from 1901 to 1910.
Oh, wow.
Maybe that's the connection. Could be.
Wow,
Maybe.
That's interesting. King Edward. Huh. It did say 1910. Journey instance, and then the spirits visiting. Yeah. That's weird. I guess maybe King Edward stopped in tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, King Edward. Appreciate you stopping in. We appreciate you hanging out here in the portal for a night. But yeah, that's cool. Then it said 1910 too. Yeah, it did. Yeah, I just looked up again. It said 1910, Journey instance, and Edward, enjoy. Edward, enjoy. So Edward enjoys the portal. I think that might be a royal endorsement, actually. Thank you, King Edward.
Oh, of course.
Appreciate it. So anyway,
maybe we got knighted.
Maybe we got knighted. Yeah. or good knighted. Thank you.
I was gonna go there.
You didn't get there. You didn't get there. I got there first.
Yeah.
Oh, already subbed to Hometown Ghost Stories. Good job, lady. Thank you. So Sheldon, anything in closing?
Of course, guys, take a look and visit the HQ, paranormalportal.net, where you can get up to date on the new shows, new podcasts, and your own interview and other information on Dad, if you so desire, and if you dare.
And I'll be back tomorrow night. I don't know if it'll be just me or me and Jimmy, but if it's just me, maybe we'll set up the ghost stuff a little bit and see if someone's visiting that way. So I don't know. Sky's the limit. It's our show. We can do what we want, right?
That's right.
I can do what I want.
Sure can.
You guys. So that's gonna about wrap it up for us though. But thank you so much for joining us. And you all take care of yourself. Just remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. Thank you for the new people stopping in. Would love that you stopped in. Hopefully you'll come back and be a guest. You guys want to let me be a guest? Yeah. Go over to paranormalportal.net. Sign up. Hit the interview me, Ramon. And you're in there. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what the time is. It's perfect timing. It's just the perfect time to say good night.
Good night.